So, let us talk about a little bit about the gamer brain. What's behind the phenomenon of gamer brain? If you ever refuse to knock down a game's difficulty level, or chase a purposefully pointless achievement, you may have this pernicious but pleasurable affliction. I don't think that's gamer brain. I don't think that's only specific of gamers. I think it's just wanted to be challenged and not backing down. That's nothing new, okay? But you wouldn't know that. K.S. McDonald. So this game is effect in the brain, usually focusing on aggression or the cognitive benefits of playing games. Aggression. This is kind of a red flag already. This is kind of a red flag. The former topic has fallen out of fashion now, after more than a decade's worth of scientific research failed to prove any causative link between video games and real-world violence. More than a decade, it's probably close to 2 decades and a half, I bet. But sure. Studies on the positive effects of games have shown that performing complex tasks with your brain and hands is actually quite good for you, and the games can be beneficial for your emotional well-being and stress management. That's all well and good, but I'm obsessed with the concept of gamer brain. That part of us that is drawn to objectively bonus achievements. Mastering a game or finishing a story are normal sources of motivation, but the gamer brain is inexplicable. Would you try the same pointless minigame over and over because you want to get a better high score? When you walk around the invisible boundaries of a level, clicking the mouse just in case something happens? When you stay with the game longer than you should because you feel compelled to unlock the trophy or achievement? When you refuse to knock the difficulty down a level on a particular evil boss because they will be letting the game win? That's gamer brain. Now, you have better high score. You want to challenge yourself. You walk around the invisible boundaries of a level, clicking the mouse just in case something happens. That's just you being curious about the boundaries of the game. Trying to break that, which can be really fun sometimes. Unlock the trophy or achievement. You're challenging yourself. Refuse to knock down the difficulty when fighting a particularly evil boss. That's you, wanting to challenge yourself. It's fine. Doing the opposite would be a detriment, I feel. What, are you a tiny baby? Are you a tiny baby? Can't you play a game and win? Come on, man. I'm not sure whether games cause this very particular flavor of obstinacy, or whether people with obstinate tendencies are drawn to video games. But most everyone I know who plays a lot of video games is susceptible to it. It's the part of you that simply will not give in. The part of you that's determined to bend the game's rules to your will. The extreme version of it is learning to play impossible Dragon Force zones from Guitar Hero 2 times speed. Just because you can. Dragon Force, Guitar Hero. Is this 2026? Are we sure? I'm not so sure about that one. I'm sure there's not, what, 2010? It was not 2010, but it was close, right? Everything that happens at Awesome Games Done Quick. Yeah, we don't talk about those guys anymore. Too ideological. Monsters are youthful gaming pointlessness in which people take on increasingly esoteric challenges, such as playing The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask Unfolded, or spinning through a course modded version of Halo, full of random items from other games. This is probably the worst possible way to describe HDQ. It's about speedrunning. Okay? You might not agree with value in speedrunning, but that's a completely different question. It was this year's HDQ, in fact, that got me thinking again about gamer brain and why we love this stuff. But I also thought about it a lot while playing Baby Steps last year. It's a game that embraces yet outright mocks the concept of gamer brain. Not only through its main character, the use of Nate embodies a bunch of stereotypical gamer characteristics, including being totally willing to ask for help. Isn't it just a woman not understanding men? I think that's the case. I think that's the case. You want to challenge yourself because you want to be number one. Wow, you challenge yourself in a video game that's single player? That's so stupid. Yes, it's stupid. It might be seen as pointless even. But that doesn't mean it doesn't have an effect on your brain. You still want to challenge yourself with the game. You still want to master the game. You still want to see whatever the game is worth. Huh. That's a bit strange. If its creators, Gabe Casillo and Bad folly, of course. Told me a lot about this when we spoke in November. Baby Step is full of moments that tease you, the player, into tempting ridiculous fits. At certain points, you'll find big holes in the ground that you can purposely fall into, just to see what happens. Spoiler, nothing is ever down there. One character warns you away from a tower, telling you there's no reason to climb it, because there's nothing at the top. Of course, I immediately tried to climb the tower. Once I spent 10 minutes inching my way up a river to a waterfall to see what was behind it. On the rocks behind the water was nothing but a crudely drawn penis. Is exploration really that bad? Is exploration really that wrong? I don't get it. I don't think that's the case. It's a normal dirt path by a cliff that you can walk up perfectly safely. And then along the cliff is a series of wooden pegs that you could walk up instead. If you want to risk less than 20 minutes of progress, says Folly. That's a joke that you're making with the player, because for them to find it funny, they have to know that they're tempted to walk on the pegs. The player didn't feel anything about that other than, oh, that's not the correct way to go. I will walk on those pegs. Then there's no joke. But the player gets it because they do want to do the difficult thing. It's almost like gamers want to interact with the games in meaningful ways. It's because you have something there, so of course you want to interact with it. Maybe it's not meant to be interacted with in the way you want to do it, but you can, and you can try, and you might find something interesting. I understand it might not be that common in modern games. How many times did we try, especially back in the day, try to go out of bounds, explore further? That's just human curiosity. I guess mixed with pride, maybe? I don't think it's quite pride, but it's that thing of, you're challenging me, trying to mock me, but you know what? I'm gonna do it, so the joke's on you. The most exclusive joke in all of Baby Steps, for me, comes when you find a pair of glasses that make invisible steps visible. You just decide to try to walk all the way across a bunch of rocky pillars to find these glasses, risking a fall at any moment that will waste perhaps an hour of your time. You will see a path of invisible steps that eventually lead to an invisible trophy. Nate will practically weep with joy in front of this trophy that nobody else can see. Calling over a fellow hiker to admire it, who of course can only see Nate dancing around triumphantly in front of absolutely nothing. I think you're looking too much into it, man. Yes, your achievements only make sense to you. How is that a big deal? I think that's normal, even. The joy that we keep coming back to is when the player puts themselves in a particular psychological or emotional state, and then Nate gets to reflect that in some way. Polly says, "You're seeing yourself reflecting in this loser. That's the deep joke. This guy, the Scotch potato, is actually you in this moment." I'm not quite sure about Bennett Folly. I know the kinds of games he made, but I don't think this is a good example of a game maker, if that makes any sense. Because this guy makes pretty much, this guy pretty much makes anti-games. They're only worthy of content, I suppose. Like QWOP, of all things. Because you have stuff like Getting Over It, and now Baby Steps, among others. But this is rather unimpressive. Australian video game designer, yeah, no wonder everything is backwards. Kizilo, who also voices Nate, has a chronic case of gamer brain. Over time, we came around to this idea that a lot of the level design is an opportunity for introspection about why you're playing the game at all, what kinds of rewards you're attuned to, and why you play games in general, he says. Is this just a deconstruction of games? It's not surprising, but I hate to see it happening over and over again. Everything has to be post-ironic, everything has to be a deconstruction. Isn't this so deep? No. You're a 95 IQ intellectual at best when you try to do that. Because you're missing the obvious point. You're asked as a player. What do you care about? Who are you as a person? If you don't jump into the hole, you're left wondering for the rest of the game about whether you should have jumped in the hole. It's not a dip, bro. It's not a dip. It's a streamer game. It's that easy. I wonder if they call this rage games. Game brain is thought of as a misskilling concept. Taking a test that you don't have to be a man to suffer from it. One more moment. Oh, yes, women can exhibit masculine traits too. That's not what it means for it to be masculine. But sure, I mean, it's an intrinsic characteristic of males. But of course you can see that in other people, if they have the same inclinations. The Guardian, why are you like this? You're disappointing me too much today. I think there's a gender type of play, toxic masculine play, or at least it's constructed as such, Foley says. Toxic masculine play. See what I mean? See what I mean? In deconstruction. Is toxicity trying to become better and overcome challenges? For these people, it appears to be the case. Doesn't make any sense to me. This stuff is riddled through gaming culture. It's riddled through the gangs of characters that players are asked to embody. Ethan Drake in Uncharted is determined and full of grit. Is that the same thing as being obstinate and dogged? Do not dog on me. And pursuing something stupid? Maybe step is one of those games that you can only truly appreciate if you have a bit of the gamer brain in you. Trying to explain why it's funny is close to impossible. You have to have some understanding of the compulsion and strange transcendence of pursuing bonus objectives. But here's the key thing about the gamer brain, and perhaps about games in general. These things aren't pointless if they actually mean something to you. Modern day people rediscovering the concept of Sisyphus. I guess. See what I mean? See what I mean when you say I'm going absolutely crazy every single time I see anything like this, when I see just these people. It's insane. They don't understand anything they would talk about. Not even Bennett Foley. I'm sorry. These people are just ignorant. You want to do the thing because it's there. It's just that easy. It's not that deep, man. What to play? Is this just a propaganda piece? This is really weird. This is really strange. I will never understand why these people get to read or write, I guess. I don't understand how these people get to write stuff about video games when they don't understand anything at all. Wow, look at this! It's so deep. It's not a deep, guy. Gal, I guess, in this case. It's not that deep, man. So we have from the same person. It's a loving mockery because it's also who I am. The making of game's most pathetic character. Literally the same game. 4 months and 40 hours later, my epic battle with 2025's most difficult video game. Silk Song. From final boss battles to the dangers of open world bloat, TV and film can learn a lot from video games. Sure thing. Rob Long is James Bond in the $1 billion video game. Here are most read chemisters of 2025. Slop. 10 most anticipated video games of 2026. Slop. The video game readers couldn't switch off in 2025. Slop. Call of Duty's Vince Campella was a video games visionary. Slop. I think this guy died in a traffic accident. Inside Fallout. Game is most surprising TV hit. Slop. Star Wars, Tomb Raider, and the Midnight for Expedition 33 Game Awards. Slop. Prismatic Self-Assured Formidable Warcraft returns with 2 new Tomb Raider games. Kinda sloppy. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond review. 4 out of 5 stars. Slop. With the finding Xbox 360 Reimagined Gaming. How generative AI North Vader started to describe over the gaming industry's future. It's just sloppy. So, you got something that's normal when people play games. Which is, hey, you have a set of rules, you have a set of mechanics, you have potentially an open world. It's quite common in new games. And you decided that people that engage with it and interact with it, wow, have a special brain affliction. They have gamer brain. No, that's normal. I would say, not wanting to interact with the games is actually bad. It's a detriment. I've complained about this long enough. And you see people, especially nowadays, it would be easier to excuse back in the day because some mechanics were not properly explained, some mechanics were really esoteric, and I'm gonna be real, some games were kinda jank. Some games were kinda jank, okay? So of course people will have problems with the games themselves, mechanics-wise. But nowadays, you see a lot of people just refusing to engage with the games. Why? It's so stupid. It doesn't make any sense. This reeks of pseudo-intellectualism, which is not useful. Reminds me of that meme. Let me look it up. I don't know if I will be able to find it. It's an old meme. It is a classic meme. It is a classic meme. I cannot find it. But it's that strange meme, right? I think I made mixing a couple of memes in a single one. It's not on purpose, I promise. There's this meme about... the game asks you really strange questions about life. And you see the game, it's like, no, the game is telling you to jump over the death pit, okay? It's not a dip. It's not a dip. It's just a game. When you distill everything that's a video game, at the end of the day, you have... this is a little bit productive, but I don't think it's entirely wrong. You have a combination of traditional puzzles and chess. Is that bad? No. They've been around for centuries, and they're pretty good. Even to this day, normal chess, people still play it. Normal puzzles, people still do them. There's nothing wrong with that. But you try to be so extremely smarmy about it. Oh, look at me. Aren't I so smart? No, it doesn't make any sense. You talk about here, retry the same pointless minigame over and over because you want to get a better, higher score. Yes, because you know you can do it. So of course you're gonna try it. And you're gonna make mistakes. They will try it several times. And when you walk around the invisible boundaries of a level, clicking the mouse just in case something happens. This is probably the most insane to me. This can only be said of somebody that doesn't like games. If you like games, you want to break the games. You're like, okay, I know this is not intended, but I'm gonna try it. Can we break the game? How much can we break the game? Can I bend the game to my own will? Sometimes you can, sometimes you cannot. Sometimes you can, but you actually cannot pull it off. There's everything here. This was paramount in the 90s, okay? And also a bit of early 2000s, I suppose. Who hasn't broken beyond belief in Pokemon game, especially Gen 1 and 2? I know I have. It was fun to do. When you stay with the game longer than you should because you feel compelled to unlock the trophy or achievement. It's literally called an achievement or also a trophy. It's not pointless. You want to experience everything the game has to offer. It's not that bad. To be fair, some trophies / achievements are really bad. So if you want to skip some of them, I couldn't blame you. I'm the same, okay? I am the same. I do skip some stuff. I think it's too annoying. If it's too annoying, I'm not doing that. You cannot convince me. Refuse to knock the difficulty down a level on a particular evil boss. This also talks a little bit about game design. If you're playing in normal, in suddenly you find the boss and the boss kicks your ass, well, that feels bad. That feels wrong. So of course, you want to put the game in easy. You have been playing in normal thus far. Why is this so difficult? Well, I know it's not the question, but I'm gonna answer it anyway. It's somewhat implicit. There are many possibilities for this. You might have gotten to the boss too early, so you might be underleveled or undergeared, underpowered in general. That happens with some games, and yeah, it's rough. It's meant to be a special challenge, so of course. Or you're not engaging with all of the mechanics that you should be engaging with. There might be some sort of mechanic somewhere that makes the fight easier. I don't know, let's say Final Fantasy IX and Ozma having the monster side quest to make it easier. You don't have to do it, but you can make the fight easier if you want. Or there will be a specific element or piece of gear that exploits the enemy's weaknesses. You won't put anything easy, because you know you're better than this. Because it's not like you have been struggling, playing in maniac difficulty, and finally, it's unbearable. That might also happen, but that's a completely different issue. Once again, I need to ask, is it really that strange trying to become not even trying to become the best, your best iteration, right? But is it really that strange trying to become better, trying to improve your whatever you're doing? People do this all the time outside of gaming. Have you seen this strange physical feats some people do? Have you seen strongmen? My goodness, that's crazy. Those guys are gigantic. And they can move a lot of heavy stuff. I've recently seen on Twitter something along these lines. It was a special event for strong guys. Can you put this big boulder on top of your shoulder? And they were struggling a lot. Is there any point in that, aside from showcasing strength? No, it's just the showcase of strength. I would argue that strength in itself is useful, but... Huh? People have been doing that for thousands of years, okay? We can also bring up the Roman Colosseums and whatnot, but I'm pretty sure there were slaves, so I don't know if that counts. It's just the showcase of a skill, it's just the showcase of abilities, it's nothing new. It's not the gamer brain, it's the male brain, it's not difficult to understand. Game Journo's not understanding anything. My goodness, this is awful.